Okay, so I guess it didn't play our little intro.
Yes, yes, yes. If you love boxing like we love boxing, you got to come party with us at Fire Party KO, baby. Boy, look. It's your man AWL Mike T. We also got Juice God on set, on deck.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to God. Woo, in the building. All right. So we have a lovely show planned for y'all today. I can't even front. We're talking about the extravaganza that happened over the weekend. The Fatal Fury boxing event that happened at Times Square, put on by Your Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh. This dude decided to shut down Times Square for a Friday night event. So you got to build a ring and everything. So he had to shut it down for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all that kind of stuff, man. It's like, what? So the event itself was huge on that aspect. But not just that, but he had like 3 main event matchups on the same card. Each of those events could have been main events. You say the name Teofimo Lopez, huge star. He was fighting Arnold Barboza, up and coming star. That's a main event on a lot of cards. You had Devin Haney, the return of Devin the Dream Haney, after getting slaughtered by Ryan Garcia. His return, how will he do? Will he be scared? Will he be chicken shit? Or will he be wanting to fight and prove himself strong? He was fighting Jose Ramirez, who was trying to get his W's back in the Royal. He lost to Arnold Barboza. So he was hungry to get back on the scene himself. That would have been a main event on any other card. And then you had 2 of the most entertaining and polarizing guys in the division, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Every time I say that matchup, I get to laughing. But Rolly won now, so now I got to say Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. How about that? But it was an entertaining build-up. I will say that. What did you think about the initial build-up of it all and the whole idea of shutting down Times Square and having these 3 main event matchups?
Hold on, man. Let's get to it. This is a terrible idea. I don't care how fancy or extravagant some idea seems. Sometimes you just are reinventing the wheel, right? So with Turkey Al-Sheikh, it's hit or miss. I understand he's trying to change boxing, trying to elevate boxing, trying to bring new eyes to the sport, right? But sometimes the answer is right in front of you, and if you're looking all around for the answer, you don't realize the answer is right in front of you. So
right in front of you.
The biggest boxing weekend, biggest card of the year, I think Turkey Al-Sheikh just did too much this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at how the event was advertised, the Fatal Fury card, it was supposed to be open to the public, right?
Yeah,
On the trailers, when they had the little AI, the CGI, and the crowd.
You right.
They had it in the middle of Times Square. But the logistics of pulling this off in real life without selling tickets is a lot harder than they were trying to make it seem. So what we got instead was a private boxing event held in a public location.
Agreed.
Which is trash, in my opinion, as far as we're talking Ryan Garcia, Rolly, Teo, Devin. Come on, man. This is a money-making hit pay-per-view card on paper. But
on paper, exactly.
That isn't what we got. How you feeling about it?
I was excited about it. I'm not gonna lie. I was excited by the fact that Turkey was showing like how huge his stones were to just go on ahead. You know what? What's the busiest city in the world? Let me just shut it down on a Friday and let me have a private event for me and a few. The balls of that guy to, you know what I'm saying, to even do that. I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed. Pause. But At the same time, I was intrigued by the fact there was 3 of the biggest names in the division, except for Boots, on the same card. I was excited to see the return of Devin Haney. I was excited to see Ryan Garcia not on steroids or not on PEDs. Excited to see Teofimo Lopez not be calling somebody a monkey or trying to issue out bananas and watermelon to somebody and just really show his talent. You know what I mean?
T.O. showed his
like
talent.
Right. All the other stuff that T.O. be up to, man, it's like, come on, Brett. What's wrong with you, man? But so I was excited. The press conference, T.O. slapped Arnold Barboza real quick. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of pumped up for it. But I was quickly let down, B. Quickly let down. And now I saw a few things that I figured would affect the fighters when they were coming in, like that whole long car ride or truck ride, whatever kind of Batmobile they wanted to be in. They were in, but they had to drive down blocks.
It's New York. It's New York. So there's traffic always, especially at 6 o'clock when the card started.
Especially at 6 o'clock. Especially at 6 o'clock. And not everyone probably knew about the event. All of a sudden, there was just some stage being built up in New York, and then they blocked it off to where you couldn't really even see what was going on. So I'm pretty sure a lot of folks just walking by getting a hot dog or something like that. I'm like, hey, what's a boxing event going on?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was work as usual. And then they got to that block and was like, wait a minute, you know? And then you get there and they had the barricades up so you couldn't just look in. So hopefully they was able to go to some hotel nearby or some office building nearby and go up to at least, let's say, the 5th, 6th floor and look out and have a good view of the fight or something like that. But at that part, I mean, I enjoyed the pageantry of it as far as it seeming like a boxing parade almost when they were being entered into the ring. But I was feeling for the actual fighters. I was like, ooh, those knees getting cold, B. Them knees getting cold.
Yeah.
You know, and also the walk, once you get out of the car, now you're walking a little short distance, up a few steps, a quick little runway, and then you're in the ring. And it was like, hurry up, now the next person.
Right.
And it's never been done before. So they tried to make it as smooth as possible. But at the same time, everybody still seemed a little unsure of like, where do I go and what's next? I think that in itself will kind of take you out of your focused game plan. And it'll calm your ass down. Like if you warmed up in the back somewhere, well, I can't even say in the back. If you warmed up down the block somewhere, you cooled off once you went a half mile down the road. Right. And you're not thinking about the whole game plan. Like a lot of times you focus on, okay, round 1, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna test it with my footwork. I'm gonna test it with my jab. I'm gonna see what kind of head movement he got. But now you got this long parade that you're in. You're going down and all the fans cheering you on and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I can see that making you lose focus.
Absolutely. So you kind of already touched on it, but let's just take into consideration everything that the fighters had to deal with. You know, they had to travel to get to the ring and actually fight after they warmed up. Mm-hmm. There's no crowd, you know, not a big crowd anyway for such big fights. How do you feel like the lack of a crowd and the fighters having to do something out of their normal routine? How do you feel like that influenced how they performed in the ring?
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because me being let's say an artist, a personality, content creator, things like that, you're going off of vibe, you're going off of atmosphere and all of that. And big time fighters like all 3 of the main events, their last, I want to say 3 fights has probably been in front of thousands of fans. So it's a certain kind of energy in the room when that happens. It's a certain kind of buzz that's going on everything that happens. If you one of the popular fighters, you land a jab right quick, the crowd is going crazy. Right. You somebody who they're not cheering for, let's say you do a slight low blow. It might be a slight low blow on the side of the hip. You're getting booed dramatically. You accidentally slip. Somebody thought you got knocked out. It's just a bunch of energy, and fighters, I think, feed off of that.
Right.
Even when I played baseball, you feed off a bigger crowd than when it's like just a few parents in the stage in the stands. When you got a crowd there cheering you on, you got a whole bunch of noise going on, you kind of get pumped. Even if they cheering you on, if they booing, you still get a vibe going. You get some energy going.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they were just performing in front of uh, it's like they had an assembly at somebody's high school, and part of the assembly was this boxing match because the audience was
Yeah.
like, what, 4 rows, 5 rows deep or something like that.
Right. And
And
then that's like what boxing, like boxers and trainers, and
right, exactly. You run your
it's
peers.
sparring. It's sparring in the gym.
It's glorified sparring match is exactly what it was. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just didn't know what the temperature was going to be because you was outside.
Right.
In New York City.
And that's what it looked like in all 3 of the main fights. Even though Tio did well in showcasing his skills, but even Tio didn't step on the gas as much as I personally think he could have. But with Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, both of them very gun shy, as well as Ryan Garcia versus Rolly. Man, after that initial knockdown in the second round, Ryan was fighting very conservative. And, we have to wonder, since Turki Al-Sheikh did such made such an intentional effort to push for the rematch between Devin and Ryan. I want to ask, did Devin, Ryan, or Rolly mess up the rematch between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia?
Rolly didn't mess it up. By winning, Rolly just kind of added his name back into the mix of, okay, you can fight the top again. You can still fight the top. You're not necessarily considered a gatekeeper. Rolly was getting forced into that whole gatekeeper role. I think he just added himself back into the top echelon of those fighters at 147. But if Ryan had fought better, if Ryan had to come back and still tried to go for a knockout or tried to go for a serious victory, like anyway, which we'll talk about a little bit later,
right,
his stock still would have been up because we seeing what you can do without the PEDs. We seeing what you can do when you do get hit hard by somebody other than being dehydrated and Tank. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He had so many excuses. Oh, when Tank hit me, I was dehydrated, and this, and this. All right, well, now Rolly hit you, and you were not dehydrated. Now what?
Now what?
you see what I'm saying? And I think he had a few flashbacks from the sparring matches. Because when I watched the sparring match again, after I watched the fight, the same exact thing happened. Right. The same exact. Rolly was doing a jab into the body a little bit. They got in close, did a slight slip, hit him with a left hook. Boom, Ryan chin went flying up in the air because it's already partly up anyway. Went flying up.
He fights tall.
And all that. And I was like, that's the same exact scenario that went on. So Rolly was telling the truth the whole time. They interviewed Rolly before the fight, and he was like, they said, what did you learn by sparring Ryan Garcia? He was like, well, I didn't really go in there to learn. They said, well, what you gonna do differently in this fight? Nothing. And he didn't. He did the same exact thing in sparring. I was like, wow. And he was like, yeah, I knew I was gonna beat you. And here Mayweather talked so confidently about it as well. Like, yeah, I mean, after Rolly beats you, I don't want to hear nothing about Tank Davis again. I mean, it was just crazy, man, how when people have your number, they just have your number. You know what I mean? Those old sparring days and things like that, people start to see your tendencies. And Ryan has never been known for being the hardest working person in the gym. We did another video on that. Ryan just likes to do Ryan, have a little fun. Make sure y'all check out that video too. We're talking about how Ryan gets away with everything.
Yeah,
but
it's good. We break it
Ryan,
down.
Yeah, it's very good. Got to check that out. But Ryan Garcia is not known for being like that Iron Man type guy in the gym. So Rolly, I think,
was Ryan even in the gym? So Derek James, I don't know if you saw the interview, but Derek James did an interview post fight, and he didn't spill all the beans, but he was kind of like, yo, that's why I wanted to keep working. That's why it's important for us to stay in the gym, because being out in the ring so long, everything going on, we could have built on what we already had going with the first two fights.
And that's a consistent theme with Ryan.
Yeah. And remember, he was supposed to have that tune-up with that kickboxer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that got canceled for whatever reason. Golden Boy was going to sue him. It was like Ryan wanted a tune-up, knew he needed a tune-up, but it didn't materialize. Didn't get to add to that chemistry with Derrick James and build on what they already had going.
Right.
And it kind of looked like that.
It did look like that, yeah.
Meanwhile, Rolly been fighting.
Rolly been getting knocked out. He been getting hurt, getting up, still fighting, things like that. When he got hurt against Pitbull early, Rolly still tried to fight. He tried to come up with a different game plan. He tried to adjust. He started boxing.
I thought Rolly was winning.
And I was gonna say it was doing pretty decent when he was boxing Pitbull, but then Pitbull Tasmanian Devil style got to him again. And I think when they were trying to make that whole 135 and 140 weight class, all of them were dehydrated a little bit, and punch resistance nowhere near the same. So once they got hit that first time, they never fully recovered. And I'm talking about Rolly and Devin. Right. Ryan, same when he fought Tank and he was dehydrated. But when he fought like Luke Campbell and all that, he was able to get back up and keep fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Oscar
Duarte, all of that, just able to keep fighting. And to see him just kind of shell up, it's like, boy, you must have got hit with 5 bricks and 2 stones. Like, goodness gracious of life, bro. Like, he just did not open up again. He threw that left hook maybe 1 or 2 more times, but he threw it hesitant. He didn't throw it like it was Thor's hammer. He threw it like somebody said, let's play catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, want to play catch? He was like, all right. Threw it out there like that. He didn't throw it like he normally does, man. And I hate that.
To take Oscar Duarte's head off.
Right. I hate that because I wanted to see the 2 power punches landing bombs on each other. And Rolly landed his. And then Ryan just went into I don't want to get hit again mode. And so he was landing a jab. Ryan was throwing a decent jab out there every now and then and was hitting Rolly. But that's all he could really do. And that let me know that, okay, you went into protective mode. You just because Ryan ain't known for fast feet. He just known for fast hands. So let me keep a fast, straight jab in your face just to try to keep you off. But I ain't going to do nothing else.
So we saw what Ryan did. Now, Devin Haney won, but his performance wasn't too impressive either. Let's get into Devin a little bit because he beat Jose Ramirez, but he only landed 70 punches in a 12-round fight. So how do you think Devin did in his first fight back?
Bless his heart. Bless his little old heart. Devin, if you're listening, I'm putting a little spiritual anointing on your forehead just to bless you. You know what I'm saying? See if you can come back. But Devin was so shook, man. He's still waking up from. He's still getting off the canvas, man, from Ryan. He still got just the ghost of Ryan Garcia's hooks lingering in his head. He took, as soon as the bell said, ding, this up. he took off. Like, hey, no.
Hey, Almighty BB said Devin looked terrible.
It looks horrible. Man. It was like as soon as ding ding, and it's like at first the feet didn't even seem all the way coordinated like that. Like you knew you had a fight after school and you didn't know if you was gonna win. It's like, oh my gosh, just he didn't have his feet up under him, and he's accustomed to that being one of the best things. And that seemed like that was forsaking him. So all he knew was, let me just keep these something moving. Oh, feet don't fail me now. Oh, Lord. Oh, and it was like every now and then he'll throw a nice sharp. Quick, like 2 zoop or something like that. It'd be nice, sharp, and it's reminiscent of like when Devin was fighting Loma or when Devin was fighting Regis Prograis and things like that, when he's just extra sharp. But he would do that in just spurts every now and then. And every other part of the fight, I mean, this dude was playing dodgeball against like 5 people throwing balls at the same time. I mean, goodness gracious, Devin. What did you think about Devin's performance? That's what I want to know.
I thought it was boring. I thought it was really
yeah.
boring. And so I was out when the fights were going on. So I was like, man, I'm excited to see Devin. You know what I mean? Because I got the pay-per-view. I'm hardcore at this point. I got the pay-per-view. So when I got home to watch it, man, I was about to fall asleep around the 10th round. Like, I wonder when the fight's gonna start.
Right.
And then, hey, this ain't all about Devin, because Ramirez, you ain't off the hook either. I don't know why you didn't test that chin.
Preach. What did you think about Ramirez? What did you think about Ramirez's performance?
Ramirez got some good hooks.
Mm-hmm.
He should have tested Devin's new hook defense. Like, go at him. You just seen he was getting knocked down to the canvas. He was getting up. He finished the fight, but he was getting knocked down. There are questions there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Test him out. And Ramirez, I don't know what he was waiting on. I don't know if he's just, you know, a little past his prime at this point. But I wasn't impressed with Ramirez either, because it's not like Devin is the hardest puncher
at all
to not test him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's like, that's nothing you had to really figure out. You go into the fight knowing that Devin Haney is not the biggest puncher. Like, you go into the fight knowing that. And then I can understand you test it out, you just feel it a little bit. Oh, okay. But at no point did Ramirez look hurt, dazed, or anything like that to me. And so if you're not hurt, dazed, then we got to start cutting this ring off.
Yeah.
And start testing that hook. Let's see. Throw it. He going this way, throw the hook. He go another way, throw a hook. You can go to the head or the body. Throw it.
Throw it.
And throw it to his hips a little bit. Slow his hips down a little bit. But you got to throw the hooks, man. You can't just be sitting up there not throwing hooks. And his punch count was, I mean, tremendously horrible, especially to be a Mexican, man. Because, you know, we salute the Mexican fighters who come in there ready to throw, ready to go to war and all that kind of stuff, man. So it was like, man, Ramirez, come on, B. You lost to Arnold Barboza. We're trying to get back on. And I think that would have made a more entertaining fight, even though Devin Haney was like, I mean, he turned up his track shoe attributes. He turned them up to 12, level 12. Was like, we out. It's like when the bell rung, you heard the little cartoon noise on Devin Haney's feet. That he was just out of there. Like, man, Devin. But and then it's like that fight was boring. It's not like the Teo and Arnold Barboza fight was just great, but it was a good solid fight. Arnold Barboza was trying. And I think Teo got hit with something early. But then you went to that boring fight with Devin Haney. And then we got Rolly and Romero. I mean, Ryan and Rolly. And so you're thinking, okay, now we finally at the real main event. And it was a complete other than the knockdown. Because that was a big surprise, big shock on everybody. No one was expecting. I'm not going to lie. I thought Ryan was going to outbox Rolly to the point to where he could see a knockout. Like, you outbox him, open him up to where you see where the knockout is available.
But I just knew that was the case.
But that did not happen. Rolly went in there fully confident. Like, don't forget, you are my son. And he went in there and gave him a whooping. And Ryan was like, okay, I'll behave. I won't do it no more. I won't try. And he did not try that no more. Ryan learned his lesson, and he behaved for the rest of the fight. And Rolly came out with the victory, man. And I was proud. I was proud of Rolly, man, because Rolly, I can't say he don't get the credit he deserves because, you know, he didn't have some bad fights. But at the same time, Rolly is there to fight every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's there to fight every time. He's gonna, you know, give you that. But hey, he throwing haymakers, you know. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what did you think about? Well, first of all, I do want to get your opinions on Rolly and Ryan. That fight. Rolly
showed up. I I think that let me just get this comment straight. I think that Turkey Al-Sheet had Ryan and Devin looking too far ahead. I think with the whole promotion for this, they were just selling the rematch.
Yes, they were.
And so when you're overpaying guys to fight and you got them looking ahead past their current opponent, like, oh yeah, you're gonna steamroll this guy. We don't even need to acknowledge Ramirez. We don't need to acknowledge Romero. We don't need to acknowledge Barboza. When you're setting the whole promotion up like that, then the fighters start to believe it at least a little bit, you know. And then Ryan was, man, he was up here as far as the fans, and just the overall sentiment. Like, oh man, that left hook, that's God's gift right there, and nobody can stop him, and he got power, and he's exciting, and this the face of American boxing behind Tank, and you know, and so you start smelling your own ish after a certain point.
Yep.
And so you get in the ring, and then you get knocked down in the second round, and you're like, oh,
right. Oh, dang. When I just smell my own shit like this, I didn't smell as bad. But then when Rolly hit me with it, oh, my senses cleared up. I stink. I was stinking. Sheesh. And he found that out quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I just hate the fact that he didn't show the warrior spirit, man, and fight back. That's all. He went into survival mode, and I hate that. But as far as the build up, to even just focus the whole Times Square billboard setup on Ryan versus Devin rematch, and Rolly is really in the main event, and he wasn't on the buildings like that. They actually sprinkled Teo on there a little bit more, and Teo was in the first fight. But they had Teo sitting there like he was at the beach just waiting on him.
Yeah.
So it was like, how do you set up the promotion like that? And the A card person isn't the one you showing advertised fighting the other A card main event. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Ryan, you are in the A card. Rolly, you are in the A card. So that should have been a thing showing. And then later on in the future, Devin Haney, hey, as long as you get by Ramirez, you waiting right there. They should have had Devin Haney in the Teofimo chair.
Right.
And then maybe had Teofimo right after that. Like, all right, and then after y'all finish y'all battling, then, hey, y'all got to deal with me. Something like that would have been a lot better.
Right.
Besides just disregarding the guy who won the night.
Yeah. And then when you think about it like that, it's like you're just assuming that 3 A sides will win.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of assuming in boxing.
And then it's like, well, why watch the fight if the assumption is that the B card, I mean, not the B card, but the B fighters don't have a chance. So it's like, oh, this is just formality. So we're not going to even worry about them. No, let's have the intrigue. Let's have the build up. Make me think that Rolly could possibly mess up this whole rematch.
Which he did.
Which he did. Now, he said the whole press conference, like, hey, once I beat Ryan, I still want y'all to have a rematch. So in that standpoint, you know, it's not like he's sitting there saying, nope, Devin, I got to fight you next. It's already beat Ryan, and this is this. He's like, no, I'll go ahead and have a rematch. And I think at the same time, Rolly doesn't want to fight Devin. Because I think Devin may get his senses back and just jab him to death. Yeah. Jab and move, jab and move, jab and move. And you know, Devin won't even try to go for a knockout. At least with Ryan, you might get him to try, and then you can counter off of that, off of a big punch that Ryan might throw. Devin, his punch is gonna come a lot faster and sharper, except for the hooks, but all the other punches, the jabs and the crosses and all that, I think that'll give Rolly a little bit more problems because Devin got feet. Ryan don't have feet. I think Rolly knows that, and so like, no, I'm not in a hurry for that. I think Rolly would like to fight another big name, flat-footed, maybe Mexican, somebody who gonna go in there, go on the fight, and they can go in there and slug it out.
So you're saying Rolly versus Mario Barrio set it up?
Set it up. I want to see it. I want to see it. Or
I'm watching it for sure. I don't know how it's
I
going
wouldn't
to
mind Rolly versus Brian Norman Jr.
Cool.
because Brian Norman Jr. isn't extreme mover like that.
Nah.
He athletic, but he's not gonna do the Devin by no stretch.
He definitely not doing that. I don't know how many people can do that.
Right.
That was
Who can physically do that? That's like advanced prep jump rope for the whole 12 rounds. You know, like you just doing some advanced jump rope for 12 rounds straight.
Yeah, that was probably the most like disheartening, bittersweet part of it all, because you can see that Devin really has athleticism.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you running like that. If you could put that into like some offense, which he can, he's just trying to get over the middle.
He did in flashes. He'd get cornered and he just couldn't go nowhere. And his instincts would kick in. It'd be a beautiful roll counter, boop, boop. And then it's like, okay, I got some space, back out running.
Yeah.
Things like that, man. And
let me make sure he was. I felt like he was very much let me make sure I win.
Make sure I win.
Let me make sure I don't get knocked down.
Yeah. Right. And he said that actually before the fight started, because they interviewed him on it was so many interviews going on for this whole build up, but somebody interviewed him. I don't know if it was Showbiz or if it was Fight Hype or something like that. But he said, "Oh yeah, so you going for the knockout?" He said, "I'm gonna go back to boxing. I'm gonna go back to what I do best. Go back to doing some boxing."
Yeah,
I saw that on one of the interviews, and I was like, "Okay, he is not finna go for the kill." But I was hoping he still put on a great boxing exhibition.
Yeah, he missed the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he missed a huge opportunity to do that, man.
But now, I don't know. I think I'm not interested in that rematch right now. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it, but I'm not calling for it.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that.
I'm not calling for it
because I think Devin would be just as frightened when he see Ryan in front of his face again.
Oh yeah,
be back on that bike. I need to see some good. I would love to see a good fight from Devin first. Still be the villain, but be a threatening villain. You know what I mean? Right now, he just a villain with like one of those Hanes her way sheer pantyhose stockings over his head. You know what I'm saying? Got a fake gun going to the gas station. Everybody free.
He did like, sir, put the gun before you hurt yourself. Okay, put the gun down. But
so be the bad villain, man. Like be the threatening villain.
I think with Ryan and Rolly, Devin and Ramirez, we ain't got the Canelo yet, but Canelo Scull. I think that we all, the boxing community as a whole, we owe Shakur Stevenson an apology, because at least Shakur was hurt. Like we saw him get surgery after that Edwin De Los Santos fight. And so if you had one hand, that gave you way more excuse to be mobile and avoiding exchanges than what we saw this weekend.
And you know what? I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
2 bads don't make a right. 3 bads don't make a right. 4 bads don't make a right. All y'all son bitches wasn't throwing no punches. You saw what Tank Davis did with one hand. I'm just saying, man, and against a tough competitor, very tough competitor. So no, I'm not going to excuse him just because other people did just as bad.
But you're right. 4 bads don't make a right, but 3 lefts do make a right. And Shakur, he was hurt. It's different when you hurt. These guys were not hurt. Scull was not hurt.
That was pretty good, Juice.
Devin was not hurt.
That was pretty good there.
Ryan's feelings were hurt, but I don't think he was too hurt to throw some. Yeah, you like that.
That was pretty good.
But did Ryan throw one combo?
Nah, he threw nah.
Like who you gonna beat at that level without throwing more than one punch? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I just still feel like if you can outpoint someone and beat them pretty much on every round, Give me a little bit more to hurt business. Shakur was on pure bicycle getting out of there. Just like Devin. Devin Haney had too good a hands, so it was worse. But I can't say that just because Devin Haney made a 37 on his test that Shakur automatically, that Shakur automatically got a C. Nah, Shakur, you still got an F.
I'm just saying, at least we gotta get on all of them.
Yeah, we can get on all of them. Yeah, definitely get on all their cases.
But Shakur ain't on the island by himself.
That's what it is.
Right there with him, dog.
Yeah, he not in Alcatraz by himself.
Yeah,
there's a few more folks got thrown in Alcatraz with you now. Okay,
right.
Ryan Garcia thrown in there with you, Devin thrown in there with you, Canelo thrown in there with you, Jose Ramirez thrown in there with you, William Scull thrown in there with you.
No, William Skull's by himself because that was the worst undisputed fight I've seen.
So he in there, but he in solitary.
Hold on, let's get to Canelo real quick.
He in solitary.
Because I have never watched an undisputed fight since I've been watching boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody cared that the winner is undisputed after the fight result is announced.
Yeah, that's partly because of how Canelo be picking his fighters, man. That's Canelo really disrespects and dishonors being undisputed, in my opinion. When you don't fight the best, but you want to say you're the best, I mean, I'm just saying it's just it goes against what you're doing. You know,
Canelo backed himself into a corner with this because I don't know if you saw the post-fight interview where he was talking because he was, he could feel the energy. He could feel that people weren't feeling the boring fight. And that isn't what he does on Cinco de Mayo. So that he wasn't feeling it. And he was saying like, this is why I don't like to fight runners. Yeah. And everybody was like, wait, we know a big Mexican guy who's not going to run at all. If you fight him.
How about that? Right.
His name is David. And he's been wanting to fight you for years. And you do not. You, for some reason, can't find a reason to make a fight with him, and then you got a boring fight and you're complaining about it. Well, we got a guy for you.
Right.
So he trapped himself with that.
He definitely trapped himself trying to get it.
You can't say I don't like runners. Well, we got some punchers for you who ain't gonna run at all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, man, just fight William Scull. That just pisses me off, man, to be honest with you. And knowing that Canelo got a lot of pull and a lot of power with the sanctioning bodies because they're all eating off Canelo.
They eating.
To where he can pretty much say, hey, yeah, this belt here needs to be vacant and set it up to where these fighters will fight for it. So whoever wins on that, I wipe their nose real quick and I'll be undisputed again. Not saying he actually went to the sanctioning bodies and said that, but he got the power and the clout to persuade things like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just hate, especially for a Mexican fighter, man. That's like De La Hoya. I mean, De La Hoya was fighting everybody. He wanted to fight everybody. Part of the dispute with De La Hoya and the big contract that Canelo signed with the zone was wait, he not fighting no good competition. Like he ain't fighting, he fighting a bunch of Joe Blows. No, we trying to show we the best. We golden boy. We fight any and everybody,
Yeah, and Golden Boy went 0-3 this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Boy, look, after all the stuff he be talking to on
he got to do it for his own team.
Hey, man.
Clapback Thursdays.
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, he may skip this one.
Yeah, he might skip this Clapback Thursday, man. Because, everybody lost. And they lost bad, too.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, you know what? Barboza did the best of the losses. He's with Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Barboza did the best. He didn't embarrass himself. I think he landed a few punches on Teo to make Teo slow down a little bit. Because the first Teo was starting to get in his groove, play around a little bit, and then he got hit with something. And then Teo got back to wait. Let me just make sure you understand I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I just had to throw a few little trick shots on you right quick.
Yeah, Tio was making sure he won for sure. Because even in his fight before fighting Barboza, he was getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
When he was fighting Steve Claggett.
But Tio sometimes will go in with the mindset of, I'm just about to go dominate, walk through this person, and I ain't got to do nothing.
He fights to his competition.
Right. But it was also a lot at stake this time, too. This fight being New York City. He was the only one from New York. Everyone else was West Coast fighters.
Yeah.
And so it was like a homecoming for him.
I don't want to get too far off Canelo because
right. Yeah.
Boy, that was one of Canelo's worst fights.
Man, let me pull up a little Tikiki.
Yeah.
In memory of the old Canelo who actually would walk people down and get you out of there.
You pouring up for the old Canelo because now we just got an old Canelo.
Exactly. Because the old Canelo was only fighting old foes. And just looking good at it. I was watching some stuff on him because, of course, they've been showing a lot of Canelo stuff. And they're showing the different fighters he fought. And look at that. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley when he was 40. You know what I mean? Like, he been doing that kind of stuff, like kind of nitpicking who he's going to fight. We did another video on that, too, a while back, talking about how all the big-name fighters that Canelo fought were over 35.
Man, but
check that video.
Canelo looked different in this fight.
Yeah, what looked different?
He looked a little washed. For Canelo. For Canelo.
Okay.
Not like for a fighter in general, but for Canelo, he just looks like he's getting older, you know?
Do you think he could get up for that fight? You think he was just kind of looking forward to the Crawford fight?
I think everybody was fighting the same way this weekend. They're like, let me not mess the bag up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not mess the bag up. So originally, or at least Canelo was in talks to fight Jake Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake Paul, I don't know exactly what the number was, but Jake Paul's bag was like 50 million or something. It was big. So for Turkey to shut that down and pay him to fight William Scull, you know he got paid crazy.
Yeah, he got paid crazy.
And you know fighting Crawford is an even bigger deal. So I think Canelo was fighting Scull like, let me not get reckless, let me not get careless. Let me just make sure I get this W.
Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute, man. I got too engulfed in our conversation, and the chat is crazy. BB, shout out to BB. And BB, shout out to you for the action parts, to them action parts in there. You know what I'm saying? But BB is going crazy. He calling Ryan Susan. He says Susan got neutralized. But give Rolly credit. He has a very good chin and at that weight. Man, if y'all don't know Beezy, man, BB is a trip. He is definitely one of the pillars of the show and things like that. And he always has a nice little comedic relief on everything. We got to get Beezy on the show one of these days, man. We got to get Beezy to tune in on the show. But yeah, he said harsh to Rolly. I told you Rolly was not a B fighter. He said that at the barbershop. All right. I don't have him. Yeah, he'll be fighter. I still got him as a B fighter.
Yeah, that's a good rating. He's a B fighter.
I got him as a B fighter. I don't have Ryan as an A fighter. How about that? I got Ryan as a B fighter who lost to someone who was familiar with him. Lamont Roach, Tank, familiar. You know what I mean? Things
the
like
old
that.
sparring partner thing.
Yeah, I think Ryan might end up doing better against other people more so than Rolly. If you put up 10 people, I think Ryan may be able to beat more of those people if they're other B tier fighters. I think Ryan may be able to beat more of those than Rolly. Maybe.
Real quick on Canelo. Thoughts on the Terrence Crawford fight now that it's apparently next. Do you want to see it or
do I want to see what?
Do you want to see Canelo fight Crawford, or would you rather see Canelo fight somebody else? How you feeling about it?
Well, I mean, I think Crawford is the only person that we might know other than Benavidez who Canelo is willing to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like he go just pull another. If he don't fight Crawford, then what other name he gonna pull out of his shoe?
Well, I mean, not so much about what he wants. I'm saying what you would want to see.
I really only want to see David Benavidez. Maybe yeah. No one else really at 168. Maybe in Billy or something like that.
I
Pacheco.
definitely want to see him fighting Billy.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be a dope fight.
That would be fun, but I think he's just at the end of his rope, man. And I'm just disgusted with Canelo. I've been disgusted with Canelo for a few years. I think when you and I first started doing the boxing training stuff, I was saying then, like, Canelo just be picking fights that he know he gonna win, and he's scared to really try himself.
At the later half of his career, at this point, because he's challenged himself now. He done fought too many times to.
The biggest challenge is
now.
Call out the fighters.
His career ain't no. Come on now. He
call out the fighters,
like
man.
70 times.
Call out the fighters, man.
Nah, don't do that now.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
So him and Rolly are on the same level.
No, because Rolly fought a lot of people while they were in their prime.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, name them. When he fought Cotto was on his last leg. When he fought Mayweather was 38. When he fought Triple G,
that don't mean shit.
But that's what I'm saying. But they were past their prime. Like he was going in there like he's going in there like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and beat up on these old dudes or these little dudes who moving up in weight. Amir Khan was moving up in weight and was old. Had already been known for having a glass chin at that point. Why are you fighting Amir Khan, B?
He got him out of there.
He was supposed to. It was a little guy coming up his weight class who's known for having a weak chin at the little weight class. And now he old and been knocked out severely 3-4 times.
He just getting old. But I just don't believe in writing somebody off while they're still active. Because it's like, hey, you active. Get in there. You know what I mean?
I mean, but I'm just saying, every time he fought someone, I was a little disappointed, except for when he fought Floyd. But I think even then he was thinking that he was picking on an older fighter who didn't have any punch power. So, hey, I'm going to knock this old little dude out. He was still the bigger guy against Floyd and all that. But Floyd, like I say, Floyd was 38 years old.
So Bivol wasn't in his prime?
I give you Bivol. But he thought Bivol was going to be more of a walk in the park. You see, he didn't try Beterbiev.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother opponent.
Well, agreed. But it was the same weight class. And Beterbiev was known for being the man in that weight class. Bivol was known for being the boxer.
I don't want to get too sidetracked because we still got to talk about the monster.
Yeah, the monster did his thing.
Hold on. We gonna get to him. But no. We'll revisit Canelo because we can do a whole show on Canelo.
Crusher Kovalev, same thing. Oh man, he tried to get Crusher Kovalev right after he had a hard fight against.
He old, but he disposed of him.
Yeah, but also had him weight drain. He didn't give him a long enough training camp. He rushed his training camp. Kovalev said no at first because I don't have a chance.
Hold on. Canelo's resume is his own live in itself.
Yeah,
I didn't prepare for that.
It is.
We got to talk about the monster.
Monster in your way.
So this was a really boring boxing weekend, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people were disappointed with paying $60 plus per pay-per-view for Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
Virtually no highlights are being circulated from Saturday night where we had Bacoli versus Jagba, we had Munguia versus Saraz, we had what's the cruiserweight's name? Badu Jack. Close fight, split decision. We don't really have a lot of hype from those fights. Canelo versus Scull. The biggest highlight was Crawford stepping in the ring. So a lot of boxing fans were disappointed, and Monster Inoue saved the day with a traditional fight in Vegas. And he overcame getting knocked down early in the second round to win by knockout in the seventh round.
And BB right, it was free.
Yeah, and it was free. It was on ESPN. It was in Vegas. There was a crowd.
Yep.
So how you feeling about Inoue, man? You think he pound for pound #1?
No.
Oh
no, I don't think he's pound for pound #1. Reason why is because I don't think he has the competition to be pound for pound #1.
Are you saying he's fighting cab drivers?
I'm sorry. Let me look up the career of Cardenas.
Is it Cardenas or Cardenas?
Computer says
no, but he said he was driving Lyft and Uber in 2023.
So he was just lifting Uber and all that. So he's not a full-time fighter or anything like that.
He was fighting like a full-time fighter.
You know what? I watched the fight again, and after I want to say around about the 6th round, he just started fighting like he was out of shape, and he was just covering up, and then he would just throw a wild punch, and it got predictable. Inoue would throw a few straight bombs. He would just cover up like this. He'd do this, and all of a sudden, he'd just throw a wild punch without looking. And Inoue started to see that, and it was like, "Oh, okay, that's all you're gonna do now."
Ain't that more about Inoue being good though?
It's about Inoue deciding to throw straight punches while he saw someone throwing wide punches, but that means Cardenas went through a bunch of rounds just covering up. So why don't you adapt?
Hold on.
A better fighter will adapt.
Hold on, real quick for the people at home. Can you explain that real quick? You said something about boxing breakdown. You said straight punches versus wide punches. Can you explain?
Yeah. So okay. Glad you asked. The quickest way to get to a point is a straight line. So if I want to get right here, it's easy for me to go straight this way instead of for me to go around about. Right? So if I'm throwing wider punches, it's easier for me to get hit straight down the pipe. The straighter punch is going to get there quicker. Granted, people have somewhat near the same punching speed. Now, Ryan Garcia's left hook might get to the same time as your jab, but the grand scheme of things is if someone throwing wide punches, you can throw straight punches right down the pipe and land before them. So now if the person who's throwing the wide punches is only covering up and not even looking for a counter punch, just kind of covering up and then just all of a sudden just coming out and exploding with something, that's not necessarily a real game plan. That's just a puncher's chance. And so I want to say after like the 6th round, he was just pretty much on pure puncher's chance mode. It wasn't like, okay, let me show you what I got. First few rounds, it was like, yeah, let me show you what I got. I got a little chin on me too. I can take your punches, but you can't take mine. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, once Inoue was like, okay, well, how about this then? Let's fight.
Yeah.
And then Cardenas pretty much so didn't want anything to do with it after that. It was like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't drop dude and dude coming back stronger. What? I thought you were supposed to weaken up after I cracked you.
So do you feel like that was a good stoppage by the ref?
I think it was a little early, but I do think Cardenas was starting to take a lot of punishment. So if you know the guy is a cab driver and he might have a family, then you might stop it earlier. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But in the grand scheme of things, I think he showed enough heart and enough punch resilience throughout the fight for it to go a little bit longer than that.
He deserved a count at least.
At least a count. And then ask him, do you want to continue? Walk towards me while you wiping his gloves off on your shirt, stuff like that. You assessing them and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
But dude was putting up a pretty valiant effort. I'm not going to say a good fight. He was putting up a valiant effort. So I give him a great A for effort.
It was like there's danger there. Anyway, just handling it.
Exactly. He had power in his punch. He just didn't know how to set it up. Dude didn't even throw jabs back like to set up any punch combinations.
Nah.
Dude just pretty much so covering up the whole time, and then he would just throw something big.
I don't think that works against Inoue. Like
because Inoue knows how to keep his eyes open. Let me figure something out. Okay, you get me with that? Okay, let me figure something out. And in the meantime, while I'm figuring out, you're gonna keep eating these jabs.
Right.
And then every now and then I'm gonna follow it up with a 1-2 zip. All right, but I'm still figuring out what I can do. Zip, zip. Let me get out of here because you're gonna throw a wild punch. Zip, zip.
Yeah,
Let me back out of
you're
here.
right.
Okay,
You're
okay.
right.
Ooh,
You
now I'm
was
learning.
looking at him like, okay, I
Uh-huh.
got you figured out.
Yeah. So, what did you think about the opponent? Did you think he was?
I never know these guys anyway fights. Like
That's my.
I love watching anyway fight. He's very entertaining, fan friendly
Mm-hmm.
style. He's highly skilled, but I don't know these guys until anyway fights them.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping it real. I
Yeah.
don't really follow the little itty bitty weight classes like that. But I'm entertained, so I'm not mad at it. I can't really say he should be over Usyk.
No, definitely not over Usyk. No, by no means. Because
or
Usyk
or necessarily Crawford.
not over Crawford. No. I don't. Nuh-uh. Not over. I'm gonna say not over Tank.
Mm,
Tank got more names on his belt
mm,
who actually still kept doing something. Mario Barrios became a champion after he fought Tank.
ah,
You see what I'm saying? I mean, you got Stephen Fulton on Inoue's belt, but you got an old what?
I don't know. So Tank got a better resume than Inoue.
You got old Daenerys, and you got Stephen Fulton. Name some more folks.
Why are you putting the pressure on me?
I'm just saying.
Because I surely don't know these guys.
So it's like when you watch Mike Tyson's greatest knockouts and you don't recognize none of the fighters on there he's knocking out and they look scared pretty much so the whole time. How much credit do you get for that? And then you see him fight some real big time fighters and you lose. You know, so it's like
pound for pound is just funny though. I don't really like pound for pound lists. It's hard to really.
It's hard to judge it.
It's what?
It's hard to judge a pound for pound list.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to just put all these guys on one list, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're in the climate where not everybody's fighting each other. Like if you look compared to UFC or just MMA in general, it's like champion may have 5 losses. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't all this undefeated perfect record. Like
now, BB was
with the best and losing sometimes.
One of the call chat members, BB was like, he said, think about what you were saying about the monster because dude dropped him. He said the body was wide open on the monster. If they look at the film, they would know how to get him out of there. Yeah. I mean, I think you get some, like now that was his first fight at featherweight. Was that monster's first fight at featherweight?
Was it? I thought
yeah, because he was moving up, I think.
Man, and, there's a limit. There's a limit to that moving up. For
exactly.
Sure.
And, you know, the Uber driver knocked him down. And they went string for string. So I think
that wasn't the first time he'd been knocked down.
No, it wasn't. No. But I give him credit. That's why I salute Monster anyway for showing that I get knocked down. But, hey, now it's time to play chess. We're going to play high-speed chess, too. We're going to play high-speed chess, and we're going to throw aluminum college baseball bats at each other. You kind of go bing when they hit the head. You know what I'm saying? And he coming with a bunch of them. Bing, 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 bing. And so I salute him on that. He doesn't have the competition. And then it's like when you think about it, how many people you know that are grown men that weigh 120 something pounds?
None.
So what's the pool of people that you're pulling from in that division? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many, you go to a basketball court, how many people on the court weigh 120 something pounds? Like your pool is, so okay, so now if we're going to only find people who want to play basketball who weigh 120 something pounds, you're not selecting the best people in the world.
I don't know how many adults are 130 or lower. You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like
I don't know a lot.
He
personally
Kentucky Derby winners, man. Like,
yeah,
like he going to Kentucky Derby and scouting. Like, okay, well, he might be a good fighter. Just saying, man.
Hey, anyway, you did great, man.
Yeah, anyway, did great. I just want you to
weekend.
have some more competition.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's really keeping me from putting Inoue like above a Tank, because I think the tougher competition. Okay, Stephen Fulton might be tougher. Nah, because you got Lamont Roach now. I think Lamont Roach crosses out the Stephen Fulton fight as far as the highly skilled guys that you fought.
I'm lost. Explain that.
Okay. As far as I was going to say that Inoue has fought the more skilled guy in Stephen Fulton. I was going to say Stephen Fulton was a more skilled guy than anyone who Tank has fought. But then I say, oh, Lamont Roach is right there. Now, they fought to a draw. A lot of people think they lost. But I think the Lamont Roach shit. Well, I mean, it's
I don't know.
it's hard to say, man. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
fight too.
Yeah, exactly. And by the fact that Tank didn't beat Lamont Roach, and Inoue actually beat Stephen Fulton.
I'd like to see Stephen Fulton fight Inoue again in a different way. But real quick, because we got to get out of here. We're past the hour. Biggest winner and biggest loser from this weekend.
Biggest winner from this weekend, Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero was kind of being shoved off into the gatekeeper role. You're just a name. You're funny. He was being played as a gesture. You know, come make us laugh, and then we're going to make you a sacrificial lamb, send you off to the wolves. And now he's a major player again by beating probably the most popular person in the division.
Yep. Who you got biggest loser?
Biggest loser. Oh, the biggest loser is going to probably be it's either Jose Ramirez or Devin Haney. Because, and I'm gonna make my case for both. Ramirez might not have another shot, period, after his performance there, and he lost to Arnold Barboza, who just lost to Teofimo. So as far as biggest loss in that sense, it's Jose Ramirez, but he didn't have as much upside going for him as Devin Haney has. Devin Haney has a lot still left to do in his career, still a lot younger. Ramirez older and was on his way out anyway, just like, I needed one more chance. But Devin Haney still got like a bunch ahead of him that he's kind of throwing down the drain because he's scared now.
Yeah.
And so if he doesn't get over that, then he has more to lose. How about that? So Ramirez lost the most right now, but Devin Haney has the most to lose, period. In that.
Yeah.
William Scull, no one's gonna watch him fight again. He lost.
Hold on, you don't get to name 3 or 4 now. So me.
You're right.
My biggest loser, William Scull, by far. No, he won't be allowed on TV again. He won't be allowed in Saudi Arabia again. No one will ever want to see that again. That was terrible. He'd be better off competing in track for Cuba instead of boxing. Boxing ain't it. That was your undisputed effort. And he thought he was thinking he won. You ain't win. You ain't win nothing. A turkey gonna ban you from everything. The biggest winner, I'm gonna go unorthodox and say Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford has a way better chance than a lot of people were thinking, including myself, especially myself.
Agree.
Beating Canelo, then at first I was like, oh, he just he trying to get that last payday. I do believe that he always thought he had a chance to win or thought he would win. I never was down that. I just personally thought Canelo was gonna wash him, but after what I seen Saturday, and then seeing them stand next to each other, seeing the size, like, man, Crawford, he definitely taller. I think Crawford's stock went up way. I think the betting lines are going to shift way more towards 50-50 than they should for the weight classes. So I'm gonna go Crawford, biggest winner of the weekend.
I like that.
William Scull, by far the biggest loser. Nobody's gonna ever allow William Scull to get on TV again. No promoter, nobody. It don't matter what belts he got. He could have all the belts. It don't matter.
Man, when I saw the pic with Canelo with the platform tennis shoes on, man, I was like, bruh, what are you doing?
Like Canelo, we know your height already, right?
Like, you got on platform tennis shoes, B, for this face off right quick. Golly, so it shows me that Canelo might be a little intimidated.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then not just that, but Bud, he has a way of looking at you with that 70s I ain't playing no games kind of look. He started off smiling that face off, and then it kind of turned into
he getting the fight mode so
you
fast.
already know I'm gonna grow some pork chops. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look like the
little Frederick
exactly that. Yep, the W.E.B. Du Bois haircut, and it's gonna be a mess on it. And I'm leaning more towards Terrence Crawford now, man.
Hey, don't give away all our videos now. You know we got some. You're
right.
We got stuff coming.
I'd be flip flopping on that. I'm not gonna even lie. Because we definitely got some things to talk about on that. So make sure y'all stay tuned in for all of that.
So thank y'all for watching. In the meantime, we just dropped a dope documentary on Devin Haney, the 9 reasons people hate Devin Haney. So check that out. Almighty, you want to sign us out?
Yes. I really appreciate you guys showing up for us as well. Make sure you leave some comments in there. Let us know what you think about the weekend and how it went down, all of that, so we can get in there and engage with y'all on that. But for right now, I'm your man, ALLMIT. We got Juice God over here. And together we are Fight Party KO. And we are signed out. Big dogs eat on the porch. Woo! That's a wrap.
Peace.